Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you could make it to Canva Without the Chaos. This is part one, so a streamlined approach to on-brand content creation for small businesses and entrepreneurs. So just a little bit about me. As Courtney mentioned, I am the owner of Life Well Branded. So it is a brand strategy and design studio here in Central New York, but I work with clients all over the country. My work centers around partnering with passionate visionary founders who are ready to take their businesses to the next level, but they are recognizing that they need a clearer, more confident brand foundation to help get them there. And so I help people take all of their visions and ideas that are swirling around in their heads for their businesses and turn them into visuals and a voice that actually connects them with the people that they're meant to work with. Just a little bit about my approach. So one of the things that shaped my approach to branding was I noticed in the first couple of years of my business that as I would hand over finished brand assets to people, they would have this beautiful library of logos, colors, fonts, branded graphics, and all of that. But if they didn't actually know how to use it and apply it in real life, it felt to me like they weren't actually getting the most out of their investment. So that's when I realized that I really wanted to build brand empowerment into my business as a core philosophy, a core value, because for me, it's really not just about creating assets for people. It's about making sure that the business owners that I'm helping actually know how to use those assets. And Canva is such a great tool to help business owners do that because it puts good design in the hands of people who don't necessarily have that professional design background. So just a quick show of hands. Just double click fingers, tell me. Okay, just a quick show of hands. How many of you guys have used Canva already or use it regularly? All right. And how many of you opened it once and like immediately closed the tab? So Canva is, I definitely have a love-hate relationship with Canva. It can do a lot of amazing things. So on the positive side, you have access to thousands of stock graphics, photos, videos, and professionally designed templates so that you don't have to always design things from scratch. It makes good design, quote unquote, good design accessible to non-designers. It has a very robust brand kit, which is in space in Canva where you can add all of your brand assets, making it really easy to stay consistent in your visuals and your brand voice. And it's got a ton of tools all in one space. So on the downside, it is a very overwhelming interface. It's very confusing when you get in there. People are trying to figure out what's where. It's a little bit hard to navigate. It has a very odd organization structure. So you can save things into folders and then even then it's still very challenging to find them. And when you open up your home screen in Canva, even though everything's organized in folders, you still see all of your recent designs just plopped in front of you. So it can be a little bit intimidating. And it seems like there is 1,000 ways to accomplish the same thing. So it seems like Canva kind of wanted to try to make it easier for us by giving us a bunch of different ways to do the same thing, but it's also a little bit confusing. And it's always changing. So as soon as you feel like you get the hang of one thing, you go to do it again a couple months later, and it's like they switched that whole thing around. So it definitely can be a little bit challenging to work. A little bit about the things that you guys will learn today. So you will learn how to navigate Canva confidently. So a lot of people just are not even familiar with the basic interface of Canva. I'm just going to take you through where everything is and how to use certain tools. We're going to talk about how to set up your brand kit with your own brand assets. So even though this is Mohawk Valley Gives and a community foundation putting this on for you, we also want to empower you with the tools in the long run beyond this campaign to actually utilize the tools to help grow your organizations. You are going to learn how to create on-brand posts. So utilizing Canva's built-in templates to style them and make them look like your brand. And you're going to learn how to save and utilize shared brand templates. You're going to learn how to add subtle animation and video from existing content that you have, and also how to organize your files. Just a little note about why all of this matters. There's a famous quote that I love. It says, design is the silent ambassador of your brand. So even when you yourself are not acting as the face of the brand, your visuals are. They're shaping people's opinion of your brand or your organization, even when you're not present. They really form the reputation. First impressions really matter. So studies show that it takes about 1/10 of a second for people to form an opinion about your brand. Consistency builds trust. So when your colors, your fonts, and your layouts align, your organization feels more professional and credible. So think about graphics that you see on a regular basis and websites that, for brands that you love. If things are all over the place and misaligned and there's a million fonts being used, or that brand uses different colors all the time or different fonts all the time, you don't recognize them as easily. And it's harder to build that trust and that affinity with that brand. Professional design equals confidence. So when your content looks good, you feel more confident showing up and actually connecting with people. And clarity converts. So clean, elevated visuals help your message land without distraction. So again, I'm not sure how many of you have ever been scrolling through social media, and if you see a post and right in that graphic or that image, there's 1,000 words, and it looks like somebody took a flyer and tried to put it into a social media post. Most likely you're just scrolling over it, right? Because you're not going to take the time to read it. The message is not going to land with you. Quick note on today's workshop format. So one thing I took into consideration when I was building this workshop is that Canva is very challenging to teach live because again, everything is changing all the time. Sometimes things are in different places every time you go to look for them. And in order to keep things really clear and straightforward, I pre-recorded the demo videos. So there will actually be demonstration videos showing on the screen. And then I will be talking you through some things before and after each demo video, as well as allowing some practice time for you guys to actually play around with what you saw in the demo video. And we have a whole 2 hours, not to say we're going to utilize the whole thing, but just to really take our time and actually get some hands-on experience with those videos. So the first video that we are going to talk through is just the Canva interface video. This is talking about Canva being your creative command center. We're going to take a look at the home screen and do an overview of that, all of the different tools and the panels, and also a quick bit about how to organize your designs into folders. All right, so let's start by getting comfortable in Canva. Think of this as your creative command center. Here on the home screen, you'll see your recent designs, quick links to start something new, and templates that Canva recommends. To create a design, click the plus sign in the top left corner. I'll select an Instagram post to get started. Once your design opens, you'll see your main tools on the left and your workspace in the center. On the left-hand panel, you'll find templates. If you click See All, this is a great starting point for any project. You'll also see Uploads, which is where your photos and videos live. Your Brand Hub, which is where all of your logos, fonts, and brand colors are stored. And your Elements tab, where you'll find shapes, icons, graphics, and frames to help build out your layout. Across the top here, you have your floating design toolbar. This is where you adjust things like fonts, sizing, colors, and spacing. You can also adjust the alignment of your text here. To add new elements to your design, click the Elements tab in the left, and then come up here to Search. Let's try searching star. Canva gives you shapes, graphics, photos, and frames that you can drop right into your design. Frames are especially handy. You can drag any photo into that frame and have it automatically crop to that shape. One quick organization tip, be sure to come up here, give your project a name. We'll title this one Workshop Demo. Come down here on the left to Projects, where you can create folders for individual organization systems like client work, lead magnets, social posts. We'll title this one Workshop Demos. You can share it with anyone on your team if you have Canva for Teams. Click Continue, select that project, click that folder icon, and make sure it's saved where you want it to go. Keeping your designs in folders makes everything so much easier to find later, especially as you start building out more design. So that's Canva's layout in a nutshell. Your tools here on the left, your loading design toolbar on the top, and your workspace in the center. Once you know where everything lives, creating on-brand content becomes a whole lot easier. So does anyone have, is the Canva interface pretty familiar to everybody? And does that make sense? A quick tip is to treat your Canva home screen like your desk. So a cluttered space slows creativity. It's really easy, and I know this too, when we're really busy creating graphics, to just kind of create and make copies of and duplicates of designs and without saving them. And then when you're trying to go back and find something later, it can make it really hard. So if you just create those folders and develop that system early, it's a lot easier to find things later. So we are going to just take a few minutes here to get comfortable in Canva. I have a few options of things you guys could potentially do if you wanted to start playing around in Canva, especially if you are not familiar with it at all. For the first one, you could try creating a new Instagram post. You can click create a design, where we in the top left, search for Instagram post and open up a design. You could explore the elements library where they have the photos and the graphics and try doing a search for star or another element of your choice and play around with those. Or you can experiment with the toolbar across the top, playing around with adding a text box, changing the font or the color, or reset. You have the well, so you need to, what's the template? And then what the toolbar will pop up when you select the top. So, yep, so that'll allow you to kind of that text. See. Okay. Yeah. I have. Okay. Well, right now you can just go ahead and play around with any design that you're talking to load your assets. So, and then I'll show you in the demo how to and I'll put all of those elements. But for now, if you want to just put it on the creating an Instagram post, I don't know the answer. I know I have to try and get into it for it. So there is no free version. There is a free version of Canva. You can't do much with it. Oh, it allows you to upload a couple brand colors, and no custom fonts or photos or anything. And you don't have access to very many fonts or photos. And it's very limited. The free version is only 119 user for a single user. So depending on how much you use it for your business, really like that, I think. But the free version used to have a lot more, and then of course they dumbed it without.
Yes.
So
So I think what I will set myself on is free version.
okay,
I don't know, can you tell?
free version for the free trial.
I did not pay any money, so.
So if you haven't paid money, they might still be letting you try out our own version. Well,
Because when I was trying to sign up last night, they wanted a credit card.
okay.
Only because I have not actually spoken with.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Hopefully this will still be helpful, and it might actually help you decide if it's something that is interesting in, so.
Because this would have to be something that comes out of the organization.
Of course.
Curious. Now, it did say that nonprofits had some eligibility different from.
Yes, I believe we do have a special nonprofit price, and I think there's a specific system to go through to bust that with them.
Lots of hurdles, but we can.
Yeah, I know.
So how do I get back to home? Have it, write something. Oh, to the little house.
Everyone, on to the next one. If everyone's feeling pretty comfortable in here.
How do you get rid of the page?
Like get rid of the whole page.
Yeah.
Well, you can select everything and
Delete it?
delete it, or you can go back to and create an entire page. Yeah, if you wanted to create.
Okay, great.
Let me try it from here. Amanda, how you are? You do. I had to search.
Okay, everyone, so now that you know your way around Canva a little bit, we are going to take some time to actually personalize Canva for your brand. If you either have Canva Pro or are currently operating on a free trial of Canva Pro and have some brand assets ready to upload, you could follow right along or do that during the practice time. If not, hopefully this is still really helpful. If you haven't invested in Canva Pro yet, maybe this could give you a sense of what Canva can actually do and see if it's something that's right for your organization. Brand Hub is where all of your brand assets are stored in Canva. It allows you to upload your logos, your fonts, your colors, a whole photo library of custom brand photos, icons, and all of that stuff, so that as you are using Canva, creating social posts or marketing materials, you have all of that stuff right at your fingertips. And I'm brand Sophie. Now let's take a look at your brand hub. This is your home base for consistency. If you set it up once, Canva will do the heavy lifting for you across most of your designs. Starting from the home screen here, click on brand in the left-hand panel. This will bring up your brand hub where you can see all of your assets, your brand templates, brand guidelines, as well as your drop-down for various brand kits. For now, we want to start with the brand kits. As you can see, I have multiple brand kits set up here. This is because I have multiple clients that I have designed social media graphics for or have in the past. If you have your own brand assets for your organization, you can set up your brand kit with those. Or with Canva Pro, you can also create additional brand kits for other organizations or businesses like the Mohawk Gives assets that you may have, which is what I'm using for this particular demo. First, you want to make sure you have all of your brand assets, like your logos, fonts, color codes, photos, and possibly some words about your brand voice and tone, easily accessible on your computer or your device. PNG files with transparent backgrounds usually work best. To create a new kit, we'll select the drop-down and choose Create New Brand Kit. You want to give your brand kit a name and choose Create. Now you can begin filling out your brand kit with all of your brand assets. You'll see the different categories here on the left and also separated into what look like little folders here in the center. Starting with logos, You can add all of the variations of your logos by clicking upload to category and then upload files, and then navigate to the appropriate folder on your computer where those logos are stored. Canva can typically handle uploading a lot of files at once, but if they are large and if you have a lot, it may take some time. Once your logos are uploaded, you can move on to colors by choosing colors over on the left-hand panel. Now, Canva will try to make this step easier for you and pull colors automatically from the logos that you've uploaded. But if you have specific brand colors that you're working with from a brand guidelines document, you might notice that Canva's reading of those colors are a little bit off and the codes don't match exactly. Because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and brand consistency is super important to me, I usually go through and actually remove all of these suggested colors and then come down here and then open my brand guideline document and type them in exactly as they read. This will help to keep your brand looking consistent and professional. If you have custom font styles for your business or organization, you can add those in here as well. Canva gives you a variety of different type styles where you can either assign fonts that are already in Canva as your title font, subtitle font, heading, body, quote, or if you have custom fonts for your business or organization, you can upload those by going to the plus sign and upload a font, choose files, and then navigate to wherever that font is stored on your device. Typically, you'll want to make sure that you're uploading a web font file, which typically ends in .woff. These usually work best when it comes to uploading them to Canva. Just make sure that you have the right licenses and permissions for uploading a custom font. When you do upload it, Canva will double check with you to make sure you have those permissions. You don't need to have every single one of these filled in with something. I typically just add a title, a heading, which are often the same fonts, a body copy font, and sometimes a quote or a caption font if I have a third accent font that I like to use occasionally. Under brand voice, you can also add your custom brand voice by entering a few keywords or a phrase about how you want to sound when you're writing the material. So if you use AI at all to create captions, it will use that brand voice and tone to make sure that it sounds like you. You can also add any brand photos, supporting graphics or icons, or even charts over here in these categories that you might use on a regular basis, so that you have all of your assets on hand, easy to pull from whenever you need them in your posts or other materials. To upload in any of those categories, just come over and select it, choose the plus icon, upload files. We'll go with icons for this one. Feel free to upload them all at once. Once you've uploaded all of your assets, you have a full library of your logos, colors, fonts, different icons, and even possibly photos or brand voice that you can use as you are creating your various marketing materials.
Great. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you're talking about brand voice, I don't think we've ever discussed how to write out a description of the tone or anything like that in amongst ourselves in the organization. So like how do you attempt that?
So a brand designer could help you with that. And sometimes it really depends. People get really, really detailed with it. And then some people are as simple as just putting in a few adjectives. And Canva actually, I think, has a limit for how much you can put in there. Okay. So a few adjectives or a very brief description is helpful, but depending on, you know, I mean, it's something as straightforward, right, as if you're like a bar and nightclub, right? You're going to have a very different voice and tone than, say, a higher ed organization, right? You might, for a bar nightclub, it might be fun, sassy, a little bit edgy. But for a professional organization, it's probably a little bit more straightforward, not using a lot of esoteric language, that type of thing. But definitely having a meeting or something like that where, everybody is kind of in agreement of what that sounds like, is helpful.
Okay, thank you.
And just a quick tip about simplicity, especially when it comes to typography. People can have a tendency to go crazy with fonts. So choosing 2 or 3 brand fonts at the most is really helpful. One for those heading fonts, one for the body copy, and then possibly an accent font for calling out, either quotes or, a few, say 1 to 5 keywords here and there. Definitely helps to keep the fonts streamlined. We have a few minutes for practice here. I know that I think an email went out just letting you guys know if you wanted to come with some brand assets and actually upload them. You can take a few minutes now to do that. If you already have brand assets, think about maybe uploading any missing or alternate logos that you have, any additional supporting graphics, some photos that may have ended up on your computer somewhere that could potentially go into your photo library in Canva. So we'll just take a few minutes in case anybody wants to do that, and I can come around to help.
Never sure about the fonts. Also, this is that's the logo. So what's the font? Just looks, this is done. Yeah. I'm very sure what they had.
Yeah, so sometimes it's easiest, especially in this. So sometimes instead of trying to match it identically, you probably won't be able to. Sometimes,
We don't know the guy that did it.
Yeah, it's hard, right? So sometimes I think what you did here was nice, just making it very simple, basic answer. But if you like the look of this, then what you can do is take a look at what that font name is and then assign that font in your brand font so that everybody uses that same font, have that consistency throughout.
Also wanted to go like
I didn't do
letters or print. So if, I don't know if that font is from Microsoft.
For that, yeah.
Right.
These are not. So, but this is a very basic sans serif font. So something like I would say Helvetica or Arial, those are Microsoft fonts that we have pretty much.
Okay, good.
If I went through Canva's entire font library, I could find you a font very similar.
Yeah. I don't think it's really needed, as long as you think it's okay to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes it's better to just keep it.
Sure, okay.
Thank you.
You nailed it.
So are you starting with fonts or logos or colors? So you're gonna want to provide be shy. Perfect. And then come back to the Canva. So you're gonna go to your brand first, like brand. And this is where you have the logos. If you want to do logos first, you'll put that logo. Oh, do you not? So you don't have Canva from? You do not have Canva. Okay, so yeah, so you will need Canva Pro or at least a free trial of it to upload that. Yeah. The free version, this is the free version. Normally Canva will let you try a free trial of Pro for 30 days. But maybe that option is okay. Okay.
I would have the editing good.
These are all the background. These are the full menu. This is right.
All the ones that I gave her, and they have.
Put that in the. Oh, shoot.
And other shit like this. Yeah, and right now.
Okay, so that's,
So sometimes I'm gonna go over how to use templates as well in here. So sometimes when you're using a template, that's true, you are limited to how much text you can put in there because you
These are
don't
all.
want to crowd a social media graphic with too much. But we'll talk about how to choose a template that actually fits the content that you want to post.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do with. Yeah, I know, and
Yeah.
so if this will help you decide if it's something it's worth investing in for the organization or running it by whoever the decision maker is. For the next computer. So there's a lot that you can.
For the pro?
For the pro, yeah, 119.
What do you think the Mohawk Valley Gives? How do you?
Oh, I got that from. That's lovely. So will we get that?
Yeah, so they're in the nonprofit toolkit on the small scale youth.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, everyone, I think we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, so next we are going to talk about how to actually customize existing Canva templates with your own brand. So one of the biggest drains of energy as either an organization owner or a designer, it can be decision fatigue, right? So every time we sit down to make something like a piece of content, there's dozens of choices and decisions like colors, textiles, and spacing that we have to try to decide on to create that piece of content. So this next feature is really important because it shows you how Canva can handle those decisions for you, or at least the bulk of those decisions for you, once we have that brand hub set up. You know, Canva has a library of a ton of professionally designed templates that you can use as a starting point so that you don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel and start from scratch with your designs every time. Now, let's look for creating an on-brand social media post using one of Canva's professionally designed templates as a starting point. From the Canva home screen, click Create, search for Instagram post, and open a blank design. Once your design opens, you'll see Canva's template library over here on the left. Rather than starting from scratch, we'll choose a template that's already designed for the type of post we want to create. Since I'm creating an event promotion, I'll search for event post. This template already has space for a title, supporting details, and a featured image. All of the elements I know I'll need, so it's a great place to start. I'll simply click it to add it to the canvas. Make sure you have the brand kit selected that you want to use for this post. I'm going to choose my Mountain Movers brand kit from a previous client project. The quickest place to start is with color. Under the color palette, you can click Shuffle to preview different color combinations using the brand colors. Canva automatically updates any editable text, backgrounds, and graphics in the template, giving you an instant branded starting point. Next, let's update the fonts. Canva's new Brand Assist recognizes that this template isn't using the fonts from my brand kit, so it's already making suggestions right here. I'll open on-brand suggestions, and you'll notice Canva highlights every text element that could be updated with these little blue dots. We'll click this here in the right-hand panel, change to a brand font in order to select the fonts we want to change. I'll start by clicking both of the main headings. Clicking autofix will automatically replace these with my branded heading font. You may need to make a few adjustments like letter spacing or font size, but the autofix gets us most of the way there. For the remaining text, I'll select these suggested text boxes, locate my branded fonts in the fonts panel in the toolbar, and select my body copy font. Then I'll choose Change All, and it will make that change to all of the rest of the copy in the post. In both of your clicks, the typography is now consistent with my brand. You'll want to make sure to come in and replace the existing text with your own. Back in the brand panel, I can browse the photos I've already uploaded to my brand kit. Simply drag one into the existing image frame. If you don't happen to have a brand photo that fits the event that you're posting about, you can always come over and search Canva's library of stock photos for something that fits. They have endless options to choose from. If you decide after you pick your photo that you aren't loving the colors you originally selected for your post, you can always come back to that brand panel and shuffle through those colors again until you find something that fits better. And just like that, we've taken a professionally designed template and transformed it into something that feels much more like our own brand. When you're ready to share, to stay organized, make sure your post is titled something that makes sense for you. Come over here to share, choose download, and for most social media graphics, you'll want to select the PNG option here. Click download, choose where you want to save it to your computer, and then your graphic is ready to share. I'll just finish up and get cut off. All right. So we have a little bit of practice now.
Question online.
Yes. The question online. So just a quick designer tip. Don't feel like you have to go rogue with your design, right? The templates are designed to give you, to be stick to a grid, which is very important with design. It chooses size and color very carefully. Well, color, you want to keep your colors on brand. But as far as alignment and things like that, try to just swap elements and colors and fonts without moving or adding too much. Some people, it's if you are creating an event post and you have a whole block of text, right, that you want to try to cram into that event post, try to keep the key information in the actual graphic itself and save the bulk of that information for like the caption that you're posting along with that graphic. That way, the visual will actually capture people's attention and make them want to read more. And this is just an example of how an existing template in Canva can become something that is more on brand. So on the left, you'll see templates that were actually how they existed in Canva. And then on the right, it's that template customized to be on brand with some different brand kits that I've worked with in the past. So it just shows you how kind of the size of the font stays the same, but the font itself changes, the photo in the background can change, the colors can change, and you're still keeping that layout intact and making it look like it's coming from your business. Okay. So we will take a few minutes to practice because I know I have had a couple questions, but can I just get a quick show of hands? How many of you guys actually have Canva Pro for your organizations right now?
Sure, we have Pro.
The one that will let you upload your brand fonts and photos and logos and everything.
Can't you get it free as a nonprofit?
I don't know if it's free, but I think they do have a special price. Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah. It might be free, and and that would be great.
I don't remember.
So, okay. Take a few minutes if you have Canva Pro to go ahead and try styling your own post with your brand. So you are just trying to get to open your Instagram post, or do you think we're all started?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Work with me.
do you have the Pro? Have your brand set up here. Oh, you put others. Do you have some like just? So this feature hopefully is going to until you have your website in August. But when you are ready to do that, once you have everything here, And then, give me an example of something recently. I feel like it's about it. Like about it should probably. So once you still got it, that's what I had.
Yeah.
Automatically. Yes. That's and you can have your, that's where you'll be able to come in here and shuffle through your brand colors. I already have some on our home page. I can over here, just drop it. That's your bring it in. Yeah, I just right. So, well, you would want to set up your brand up first, like in that previous demo that we did, so you can. But you know what's great about this is you guys are getting the demo videos after this, so you'll be able to go and watch them and do all of that. And I'm still.
Maybe just start.
So they're gonna give you the ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so
and we're
it's
gonna
down on this.
yeah, when you get those, we'll have them already uploaded and all you have to do is go into it. We're actually gonna talk about that.
Okay, so I should just.
Yes, I would, yeah, well, or, yeah, I'm not kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually sometimes, because you know, there's different ways to do it. You know, that's you can also, you have what you're trying, you have to show that. Yep.
All right, so.
The photo inside of the text or in the background. Well, if you want to photo your Facebook text, you can find jobs and you'll add. Searching for.
Now, for someone like you.
That makes sense, and then you think on track and a photo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so.
I figured that I'm just like.
He's not sure. What he's doing.
No, that's sure.
You're big. Yeah.
These are on like the Dropbox. These are logos. Yes. So you're gonna get the number after, but I don't have the number and set up. So you want
Yeah.
So.
ever.
No, I didn't know.
I don't know.
You might not, so that's probably what it is. They would have to add you, would have to give you the rent. So they would do that, and then there would be a little plus sign there.
Yeah, yeah, which you have some shares out.
Your files.
Yeah. And what you get, I mean, you can have it, share your
All right, everyone, we are going to move on to the next demo. So far, we have focused on creating content for our own businesses or organizations using Canvas templates and our brand kit. But there will also be times when someone else has already done most of the design work for you. And so this is very similar to what's happening with MV Gives. They will be sharing templates with you for the MV Gives campaign that you won't have to actually redesign them. You'll just want to personalize them with your own business or organization logo so that you can share them on your social media channels or however else you'll be sharing those. So this is a really common workflow even outside of Mohawk Valley Gives. You could receive editable templates from a parent organization, from like the Chamber of Commerce or another franchise or a marketing agency. And once you know how to actually work with a shared template, you'll be able to just confidently customize those while still maintaining a polished, consistent theme. Now let's take a look at how to customize. A shared Canva template. The Mohawk Valley Gives, you'll receive a Canva template that has already been professionally designed. Rather than starting from scratch, you'll simply personalize it for your own organization. When you receive the template link, open it from your email or from wherever it's been shared with you. Canva will prompt you to use the shared template, which creates your own editable copy while leaving the original untouched. Choose View Template and open in Editor. Once the Canva template opens, the first thing you want to do is replace the placeholder logo with your own. So come over here to Brand, select the brand kit that you want to use, navigate to your logos, and drag yours right into the frame. You'll want to use lighter colored logos on darker backgrounds and darker colored logos on light backgrounds. You may have to resize the frame a little bit to make sure all of your logo is showing, and then scale it to an appropriate size to fit within the space. But basically, personalizing your graphic is almost as simple as just clicking and dragging. If there are any editable text fields, you can update those with information specific to your organization while leaving the rest of the design intact. But most shared templates will be shared with you with elements locked or with uneditable text so that the design integrity of the post stays in place or so that you don't accidentally change any information that needs to be there. Once you're happy with your updates, click Share, Download, and download the graphic as a PNG. Okay. So that was a really simple one and a really short one, but I think you guys will probably be receiving multiple templates that you can use and edit with your own logo. So hopefully that's a helpful walkthrough for how you can personalize those graphics a little bit. So next we are going to talk about turning a static post into a story or a reel. So that post that we just did for like a static, non-moving Instagram post, we are going to talk about how you can take content that you already have and repurpose it for other either platforms or different parts of social media. So taking a post that is still and changing it into a different size, adding a little bit of movement to it to make it a little bit more engaging. This way, again, we don't always have to reinvent the wheel. We can take something that we already have and it into something else. Now, let's take some content that we already have. And repurpose it into a reel. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. We can use what we already have and make it a little bit more scroll savvy. I'll use Canva's resize tool to turn this regular post into a vertical format for reels or stories. Come up here and choose resize, social media, and Instagram reel. We want to retain the original post, so we're going to choose copy and resize. Open the Instagram reel, and you'll notice that our post size has been resized to a vertical format and given a new name here in the title. You can rename this anything you want, but I'll stick with this one so we know the difference between the reel and the original post size. This down here shows the video timeline, which we won't be using for this particular demo, so we can turn that off by choosing duration. And this will give us a little bit more room in our artboard area. Canva's auto resize feature does its best to reconfigure the design for a vertical layout, but in videos, we want to think top to bottom, not reading left to right. So we want to reconfigure this for a better flow. I'll center the text. Move the full title to the top. And keep all detailed information at the bottom. When it comes to reels and stories, some simple movement can make for more engagement. So let's add some subtle animation. Start by clicking the text you want to animate. We'll start with the heading, then head up here to the toolbar and choose animate. You can hover over the different options to get a little preview of what each animation looks like. X is usually more, so I'll choose the basic fade option here. We can also add some subtle animation to the photo by doing the same thing and clicking the photo, choosing animate, and hovering over the different animation options to find one that works well. I'll choose the subtle photo zoom option so that it doesn't compete too much with the fading in of the text above. Once you've added all of your animations, you can preview your reel or story by clicking the play button here, or by choosing the preview button at the top right. Once everything is the way you want it, you can export it by clicking share and downloading it as an MP4 video. That's just a simple walkthrough of how, again, you can take posts that you've already created, and if you want to try to get a little bit more engagement for that event or whatever it is you're promoting, try to add some subtle movement and post it as a story or something like that. Pretty simple, but it can make a big difference.
Good question.
Yeah.
So how frequently should, there's not going to be too much that we change about our posts, but how frequently should they be posted, and even with subtle changes?
So that's a whole social media strategy.
Okay, never mind. Never mind.
No, it's okay. It does, that definitely depends on your business or your organization, what your goals are, who your audience is typically, and how often they are showing up on social media. I tend to think that, especially for smaller nonprofits, it's almost never too much, right? Because we are inundated with information all the time from a million different sources. And so even if somebody may have been online that day, it's very possible that they might have missed it. So I don't think that you can, I wouldn't say, repurpose the same thing 10 times. But a few times a week isn't going to overdo it, or even a few times with just subtle changes, like just try swapping out the photo, or just try swapping out the words of the headline, right? Because those are the things that people look at first, and you never know which ones are going to resonate more with people. And if you use anything, any kind of social media analytics that measure metrics, that will help you track over time, like these types of photos work really well, these types of headings work really well, and you'll be able to tailor your posts accordingly.
Thank you.
Quick other question. Would you be designing one for the phone and one for computer
So the
layout?
fortunately, sizes have become a lot more universal throughout. So it used to be there was one size for LinkedIn, one size for Instagram, one size for Facebook. Now, you can really use the same static post size. I think it's a 3:4 ratio format for all three platforms. The only thing that you would, whether it's desktop or mobile, it doesn't matter. The thing that you definitely want to consider is if it's a reel or a story, you always want that 1080 by 1920 size, which is this. And Canva's really great because when you type in Instagram story, it automatically knows what size that needs to be. You don't need to know those types of things.
I have a question. What about changing the pixel? Let's say if it is got a picture to resize to a 1200 pixels.
If you have to resize it, yeah, you can resize it. Just keeping in mind that you would do that same feature that we did when we resized this one. It's you start with that. If you start with that 3:4 post and you want to go to Canva resize, you can resize it and type in a custom size. Just keeping in mind that if you're going from a really harsh landscape format to, like a really harsh vertical format, you're going to have a lot of moving around to do. Canva will try, like I said, to kind of put it into that layout and do the best it can to guess where things go, but it doesn't always do it. So you'll have to kind of move things around. But it does make it really easy to copy and resize to whatever size.
Thank you.
Just a quick tip about that subtle motion. Motion should always enhance and not distract. So there's a lot of fun, crazy animations there in Canva. And so when people start playing around with them, it can be really easy to just go crazy and add motion to every element in your design. But you want to think about just kind of keeping it subtle, highlighting just a few key things that you want to jump out at people. And also think about the tone, right? So if I am posting a story about an upcoming yoga retreat, I'm probably not going to be using an animation where something's like tumbling across the screen or like popping out at you. So thinking about that tone that you want to create. If you want calm, relaxing feeling, you want to think calmer, subtle animations. If you want something fun and poppy and exciting, use fun, poppy animation. All right, so the last thing that we have in here is some practice time. If anybody has Canva Pro and wants to play around for a few minutes with an existing post and just adding a few animations, or even just starting with a basic post template and adding a few animations, you have a few minutes to have some fun with that. If anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to come around now as well. Yes, people who share and others would have all of the demo videos that should be in fun so that you can go through it. Yeah, well, but it's very that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the videos because given that I hope there's nothing important wise. So at least we have time and yeah, we'll make sure you get that. Well, this was, and this other zone that was in our village. So see. Right now that's over top and that's on the top.
I really found it, it's just, it's on the
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then you're. I think I just. Oh, wow. Go to spread the word. Yes.
Yeah.
But.
You know, they don't need that truck.
Yeah. He's hoping that, yeah. Right.
All right, everyone. Well, we are pretty much wrapped up for Canva part 1. You guys did it. I know that was a lot to kind of cram into one day, but we wanted to keep this first part pretty simple and basic. You guys learned how to navigate the Canva interface, how to set up your brand kit when you have all of those logos and fonts and colors on hand, how to create those on-brand posts once your hub is set up, how to utilize those shared templates, how to add some subtle animation, and also how to organize your files. So if that was all fairly easy to understand or familiar to you, we would love to have you guys back tomorrow for part 2. We are going to be talking a little bit more about some of the different things Canva can do, the AI tools and the Magic Suite. It's some advanced video editing, so how to utilize some of Canva's built-in video templates and customizing those for your own business or brand, and bulk creating for faster workflows. That one is pretty advanced, but it's also kind of mind-blowing, so it's one of my favorites. And then also just how to utilize the Canva content scheduler and the planning tool to kind of try to streamline that content planning a little bit for your organization. So if you want to come back, I'd love to see you guys tomorrow. But other than that, we are done. Awesome job, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. And we're here. We're going to still have quite a bit of time if you guys have any other questions.